Hello everyone, it's Sandra and welcome to another edition of Makeup I Bought But Never Use. This is something that I do about once a year. I tend to do it this time of year, and it's basically just rounding up the products that have been my least used, the products that I've reached for the least over the past year, and I kind of give them one last chance to steal my heart before I decide whether or not it's worth letting them go or not. So let's get started with complexion products. Now, I have been over the last year, if you watched my my last Project Pan video, I had been working towards just kind of narrowing down my complexion collection to just a handful of favorites. I'm still working on doing that, but overall, I have managed to kind of go through everything and use everything on a regular basis. But the one foundation that I have reached for the least over the past year has been the Chantecaille Future Skin Foundation. Not because it's not a beautiful foundation. I am just frustrated with this product because I don't have a really good color match in it, and also I don't love the packaging. It's just so messy and it's just not my first pick. I have this in a shade Chamomile, which is a little bit too yellow for me. The other shade, Vanilla turns like peachy pink on me, which is odd because I have the shade Vanilla in the tinted moisturizer, and that works fine. And then I had also tried the shade Nude before, I believe. Nude or Cream, I can't recall, but that was too dark. Anyway, I really struggle with with the shades in this formula, and I would love for a shade expansion. It doesn't go dark enough, it doesn't go deep enough, and the undertones just aren't refined enough for my liking, which is such a shame because the actual product, the actual formula is so beautiful. It is one of the most undetectable foundations. Looks like skin, and this foundation has been around for a while, but it became popular when, I think during the second season of Euphoria. This is a foundation that was used on a lot of the cast because it is so skin-like. It's beautiful. It has the perfect amount of glow, but it's not too glowy. It doesn't make me more oily throughout the day. It wears really nicely, and you can really go up close and it doesn't look like you're wearing foundation. It's the kind of foundation that just makes your skin look good in real life, on camera. It's beautiful. It's a low coverage foundation. So even though as I'm painting my face right now, you can definitely see that it is way too yellow for me, I am able to make it work. I'm able to kind of work it in, and it blends in seamlessly. And because of the packaging, if I want to mix it with something else to kind of get a better shade, it's kind of annoying, and also it affects the finish. And one of the beautiful things about this foundation is the fact that it's so lightweight and the finish is so natural and skin-like. So if I mix it with, something else, it's going to affect the finish. And actually, I did not buy this. I got this in PR. I am wearing a turtleneck today so that the difference between my face and neck won't be as, like, I can get away with something that doesn't match me perfectly. So yeah, those are my kind of complicated feelings about this foundation, but it's just constantly my least reached for. But when I do use it, I appreciate it so much. And I'm going to go in with my Merit complexion stick. This is in the shade Linen, which is actually a perfect match for my neck. That's when I bought it in Nashville, that's kind of what I was using to color match because it matches my neck so perfectly. It's a really great product to kind of bring into the center of my face to kind of get a more cohesive look. Whenever something doesn't match me perfectly, I can always reach for this, and it just kind of makes everything look better. This is a beautiful product. This is actually one of my most reached for products, especially when I'm trying to make a foundation work if the color isn't spot on, because it has quite a neutral undertone. Like I said, it matches my neck perfectly, so it's my go-to product to marry my complexion together when I don't have a good enough color match in my foundation. Maybe if I can just kind of store these next to each other, the Merit stick will enable me to use the chantecaille up. In the concealer department, I don't have anything that I don't reach for often. I managed to whittle down my concealers to just favorites. So I'm just going in with my usual Armani Power Fabric Concealer, and I recently bought this little tiny little baby complexion sponge from e.l.f. and it is so good for concealer. And it's just as good as the Beauty Blender one. It does the job at a fraction of the price. I bought a little kit with like 3 different size sponges, and I've just been using this for concealer, and I love the precision that I get with this, especially under the eyes. Nothing to note. I'm using my Westman Atelier powder all over the face, and then my I use the Givenchy powder under my eyes. These are products I reach for constantly. I don't have any powders that I don't reach for often. Moving on to cheek products. I took some cream blushes out. This I think I'm going to let go of. This is the NARS Air Matte blush in the shade Gasp. This is, it's quite old. I don't even think this shade exists anymore. And I just never reach for this. I love the color, but whenever I'm in the mood for this color, I have other blushes that do the same thing. Like I usually use the Hermes Rose Tan blush, which is a powder blush. It kind of looks the same on my cheeks, and that's just a powder blush, really easy to throw on. I just don't love this anymore. Again, it's not my first pick. It's not even my second pick. I have like at least 2 or 3 other blushes that I would reach for instead of this to create a very similar look. So I think it's time to let this go. Next up, I have the Make blushes. These are not that old. They're quite new to me. I got them in September. My friend Becca gave them to me because she already had these in her collection, and I rarely reach for these. And I don't know why, because when I do use them, I love the way that they look. I think just in my mind, I don't know, I need to get over it because they're beautiful. They're dewy. They're dewy blush sticks, and they're really, really beautiful. I have the shade Toasted here. I have the shade Slush, which is a really, really interesting, cool toned pink color. I've actually never worn this, so maybe I should wear this today. And then I have the shade Scorched, which is a really beautiful, like burnished, reddish kind of blush. Let me swatch them. I think they're quite intimidating because they're quite pigmented, and like I said, they have a dewy finish, but they blend out. They're really, really easy to blend out. They're really easy to sheer out. Yeah, like these two I've worn before, but this I've never worn. So maybe this will be the blush that I reach for today. Let's use this first, more of as a bronzer. This is the shade Toasted, just to warm up the complexion. And yeah, I need to use these more because they're really beautiful, and despite them having a dewy finish, they don't feel heavy or sticky, and they do last quite well on my cheeks. I'm going to go in with the shade Slush, which is this gorgeous, like cool toned pinky shade. And you see here, you know, it's just a very skin-like finish. And it has that dew from within. Slightly tacky, but it's not patchy. It's like a little bit more dewy than the Merit blushes. Those don't stay this dewy on me. I don't think I would reach for these in the summer though. I definitely went overboard with this blush application, but we can tone things down with my sponge. I really like it, and this color is actually really, really pretty. That's the thing. I like these, but I don't love them. Again, they're not a first pick, but think I like them enough to keep them and play around with them more. The colors are really, really special. They're really beautiful. Especially this color. I don't have anything in this color family. I don't even have like a powder blush that would compare to this, so it's nice. I'm going to keep it. I like the way that this looks. My least used bronzer has been this Jouer Bronzing Duo, and not because I don't love it. I think this is a great powder bronzer. I just haven't reached for it because I've been focusing on using up my Beckham bronzer. So that's kind of the powder bronzer that I reach for on a regular basis. So I've kind of been neglecting this. So today I'm going to use this. It has two shades. One's a bit lighter than the other. I'm just going to mix both on my brush and give myself a little sun-kissed touch. Next, let's dig into the eyes. I have this auric cream shadow in the shade Defiance. Now, I also have the shade Temper, and the shade Temper is more of a rose gold, and I use that often. That's one of my most used one and done eyeshadows. I absolutely love that color, but I have not been using the shade Defiance. I don't think I've used it at all in the last year, which is a shame. I mean, it's a cream product, so I better reach for it. I don't love the glitter topper part, but the actual cream product itself is really nice. It's not as in-your-face pigmented as like the Tom Ford cream eyeshadows, but I find them really easy to build, really easy to work with. They're really easy. How many times am I going to say real easy? It's not drama. This will actually look pretty with some of the newer glittery shadows that I've been accumulating, like some of the glitters from the Makeup by Mario palette, or the Lisa Eldridge Liquid Lurex. That would be pretty with this, I think. It is getting a little patchy. I don't think Temper does this. Maybe it's just because this is getting old and crusty. Maybe because I haven't been using it and it's just kind of dried out a bit more. My Temper has not been doing this, but maybe because I used that more, it didn't get a chance to clump up like this. Yeah, this is really a shame because the color is really beautiful, but it's definitely not giving me an even distribution. Let's see if this eye will be better now that I'm able to warm it up a bit more. It's nice because it's not too, it doesn't go orangey. It's like a perfect neutral smoky brown. Maybe it's just my eyelids because I feel like on this eye it's going on a bit smoother. Maybe this will be in purgatory too. Maybe I'll add some drops of this inglot. This video is all over the place, but this is a product by Inglot. It's called Duraline, and it's intended to use with cream eyeshadows, and it kind of gives them a little bit more moisture, a little bit more life. I'm going to try that with this next time I use it to see if I can get it to perform better. And if it works, I'm going to keep it. If it doesn't work, I'm going to let it go. I'm going to take some and apply it on my lower lash line as well. The next eyeshadow product is something that was in my last makeup I bought but never used video, which I think is my sign of what I need to do with this. I just haven't had the courage to do it because it is a Tom Ford quad and I'm like emotionally attached to it for some reason, but I never use it. In the last year, like I said, I used it in last year's makeup I bought but never used. I used this because it was one of my least used products the previous year. And then I used this one other time throughout the entire year of 2022. So I think that means that I should let this go because I just never reach for it. And when I tried to use it, I just don't love the way that these colors look on me. Initially, I was just so smitten by this sage green eyeshadow, but when I apply it on my eyelids, I just don't love the way that it looks. And then this this past year I bought the Lisa Eldridge Liquid Lyrics in the shade Anais, which does have a little bit of that green undertone, but it's a bit more warm. It has some glitter in it. So when I'm in the mood for a little hint of green, I will always choose this over this. So let me just compare them. They're not similar. I mean, they're a little similar, but they're not the same. I just find the Lisa Eldridge product so much easier and so much more flattering, maybe because of that warmth. So this is the Tom Ford, and then that's the Lisa Eldridge. The other colors in here, like they're not that special. So I'm gonna do it on this. This is Lisa Eldridge Anais on this eye. I love this. Easy peasy. Then on the other eye, I'm going to do that Tom Ford Sage color. See, maybe I'll fall in love with it again. It's really pretty. It's such a pretty color, but I just don't. You know, when you buy an item of clothing, you love the way that it looks on the hanger, you appreciate the fabric, you appreciate the cut, you appreciate the color, but when you get dressed in that particular item of clothing, you just don't feel comfortable. You don't feel like yourself. That's how I feel with this eyeshadow quad, which is very dramatic, but it's not that this color isn't pretty. I just don't feel that great in it. Like, I would choose this over this any day. I feel so much more comfortable in this. The dark brown on both sides, just for some extra smoke. Obviously the formula is beautiful. It's that Tom Ford. It's the wet to dry formula, but I personally don't like using these wet. It's just like a nice smoky brown. Should I keep this for another year and force myself to use it more? What do you think? What would you do? I'm gonna go in with the pearly white color and use it in the inner corner on both sides. Maybe layer it a little. I don't even think I like the brown. It's just not doing it for me. It's maybe some mascara will make me feel better. The next cheek product that has been in purgatory is actually a powder highlight, which is funny because I feel like powder highlights are having a resurgence. Charlotte Tilbury just released one, Rare Beauty just released one, and I see them all over the internet. People are really, really loving them, really enjoying them. And it feels like it has ignited the love for powder highlighter, especially in the younger generation. But I'll be honest, powder highlighter just doesn't do it for me anymore. I have this good old faithful NARS Fort de France, and I think, again, I've maybe used this once in the past year. I just never reach for it. If I want a little bit of shine, a little bit of dew, I love a liquid or a cream highlight, or, you know, I pick a cheek formula that has that built-in dew. Like, I wouldn't want to add an extra shine on top of this, especially given my skin type. I'm combination oily. I know that my oils will only come through a little bit more throughout the day. This is very dramatic, but maybe I'll do like a little bit on my nose. I don't know. I've never really been as obsessed with powder highlighters, even the first time around. Should we do a little bit here? I don't know. I think I can let this go. Every time I reach for powder highlighter, it's not because I truly want to, it's because I feel guilty for not using it. Like, I have it, I should use it, but in all honesty, I wouldn't miss it. Let's do lips. This is the Victoria Beckham lip tint, the Bitten lip tint in the shade Amour. Again, I think I've maybe used it once or twice in the last calendar year, which is a shame because this is beautiful. It's luxurious. The packaging is incredible, but I just don't reach for it. Is it because it's a lip stain, lip tint, and I'm more of like a traditional lipstick kind of gal? Is it because of the tone? on me, this just, I mean, it's really pretty. It's really comfortable. I just don't love the way that this looks by itself on my lips, if I'm honest. It's a bit too brown. Like it just doesn't give me enough. Like again, it's not a first pick. And my goal is to narrow down my collection over time and to only have like first picks. You know what I mean? They have since expanded the shade range. I think this was the second shade they launched, and now I think there are maybe 4 or 5 in the range. But I don't think I would want a different shade in this formula. Maybe I'm just not like a lip tint, lip stain kind of gal. But this feels incomplete. So I'm going to add a little bit of lip liner. This is a Victoria Beckham lip liner in shade number 2, which I actually love. Just give me some shape. And then I feel like I just need a little bit of pink. So I'm going to go in with this Burberry nude pink lip tint. This is in my project pan, so maybe together, this is how I'll be able to use them up together, because I do like this combination. Let's add some clear gloss on top. This is my another one of my least reached for lip products, mostly because I would rather use a sheer tinted lip gloss instead of a clear lip gloss, but I do feel like I always should have a clear lip gloss in my collection just in case. So this is really old. It's still good. I do like the way that this looks on my lips, but I just never reached for it. Going to get some love today. This is the Glossier Clear Gloss. It's very comfortable. It's cushiony. Has decent longevity because it's like ever so slightly sticky, but just sticky enough to give it some longevity. This is the final look. I'm actually enjoying this lip combination. It turned out to be really pretty, but I'll be honest, overall, I don't love this makeup look. It just doesn't feel like I like it. I like it, but I don't love it. So I think that's an indicator of my feelings about some of the products in here, and I think it's an indicator that I should let some of these go. I'm still undecided about the Chantecaille foundation. I think I can let this go, especially because this was in the last time I did this type of video, this was the product that I chose, and I still didn't reach for it. So I think it's time to let this go, especially because I have this Lisa Eldridge product that kind of gives me that subtle, soft, grungy green tone. So whenever I'm craving that, this is just so much easier, and I just enjoy using this so much more. I think I'm going to let go of the Tom Ford. The auric, like I said, I'm going to try, next time I use it, I'm going to try putting a couple of drops of this inglot duraline in it to see if I can rehydrate it and see how it performs, if I can get it to go on more smoothly. The color itself is gorgeous, and I need to just remember to use it more and maybe play around with some of the glitters from the Makeup by Mario palette. I think that would be a really pretty combination. The Make Beauty blushes I think I'm keeping because like I love the dew. I love the dewy cheek that these create, and the colors are really beautiful. What else? I think I'm keeping everything else. I am getting rid of the NARS blush like I mentioned. Oh, and the NARS powder highlighter. I'm going to part ways with it. I guess it's a bad day for NARS. The Victoria Beckham lip tint I'm definitely keeping. I think it will be great to use it up in conjunction with the Burberry product, but I wouldn't repurchase. That's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I'll be chatting with you in the comment section below. Highly encourage you to do this as well. It's a great exercise. I feel like I've been saying this at the end of every video. Everything's a great exercise, but you know what I mean. I'm just out here trying to encourage you to savor what you have, to enjoy what you have, to rediscover some goodies, or to let go of something that just isn't doing it for you anymore, and kind of learn a lesson from that. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a beautiful day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.